Hi everyone, I'm Warren Dean. Welcome to another edition of the Edmonton Humane Society podcast. Hard to believe that we're getting ready to close out another year and getting ready to launch into 2015. It's been a fantastic 2014 for the Edmonton Humane Society, and we're going to cover the past year in more detail coming up next month. But until then, let's get to this edition of the podcast, which is a very packed one. So coming up, here's what we have for you. We have a number of great success stories to share this month. A couple of puppies came to us with major medical issues, but came through 100%. We're also going to introduce you to the adorable Barney. It's a busy time of year with the holidays upon us. We have some reminders of things to keep your pets safe. And we have another new addition to the EHS. You'll meet our new operations manager. As you know, here at the Edmonton Humane Society, we rely heavily on our donors, on our fundraisers, and on our volunteers. And without all of you folks, we wouldn't be anywhere near where we are with this facility and looking after the thousands of animals that come through our doors each and every year. We want to take a moment just to look at a few of those special partnerships that help us out.
Well, for the month of December, we are running a promotion with the Edmonton Humane Society, and we're donating 10% of all of our laser and medical aesthetics services to the animals at the shelter.
So Dermica Medesthetics specializes in advanced skincare and IPL hair reduction. So our treatments are good for anybody that's looking for skin rejuvenation, removing broken capillaries and redness on the face. It's good for rosacea treatments as well as pigment removal.
We're both animal lovers, and after a visit to the center, we got to meet some of the animals here, and we thought it would be a great idea for Christmas time since it's a very busy time in the spa industry.
Also, we're in a position to pay it forward to the community, and so because we are both great animal lovers, we thought that the Edmonton Humane Society was the perfect place for us to donate some of our proceeds for our medical aesthetics treatments.
I have a dog at home. He's a little Shih Tzu Yorkie, and his name is Chuko.
And my dog, he's an old man. I have a Siberian Husky, and he'll be turning 13 years old next month. And his name is Wolfie.
The holiday season is a busy time for everyone, and sometimes we can't concentrate on everything that's going on in the household. We want everybody, not only our family, but our pets, to be safe during the holiday season. And with that, we have a few reminders from our medical department of how to keep our pets safe during the holiday season.
So during the holidays, we like to bring a lot of new stuff into the house, which is very interesting for our pets. Amongst the plants that can be a little something to watch, poinsettias, holly, and mistletoe can cause some GI upset. If you have lilies in your house, be careful with your cats around lilies. They can be very, very dangerous to cats. Everybody has a bunch of food from the Christmas holidays, family get-togethers. People like to sneak animals a little extra something at Christmas time. You have to be very careful about fatty foods and overfeeding your pets with people food because they can come down with pancreatitis and get quite sick. Some other food products that you might have in your house around Christmas is some chocolate and also nuts. Macadamia nuts are particularly dangerous to dogs, and they can be quite toxic. Christmas baking, if you happen to bake with sugar supplements such as xylitol, xylitol can be toxic to your animals, so be very wary of anybody feeding your animals baking or getting into any baking that you've made with sugar supplement products. For little guys like this, kittens, they like to get into tinsel, particularly on trees, and ribbons, strings, anything like that. Those can be, and some ornaments too, they will eat them and they will cause a foreign body obstruction, and they can be quite dangerous. So just to keep an eye on your pets over the holidays. If you do suspect that your pet has gotten into something, try and identify what you think they've gotten into and notify your veterinarian right away. With all the toys and boxes and bags in your home this season, they can make really, really fun toys for your pets. Cats like to play in boxes, and make sure to have fun with your animals this Christmas season. Christmas is their holiday too, so enjoy yourselves and enjoy your pets, and don't forget about them.
Welcome back to the Edmonton Humane Society podcast. As we do from time to time, we see some severe cases of injured animals come to us here at the EHS. And as they always do, our medical staff steps up, helps these puppies out, and gets them back to health and gets them adopted.
She came to Edmonton Humane Society with her mom and a whole bunch of litter mates, and they spent quite a bit of time in shelter. As they were growing up, we noticed that she started to lose weight and she wasn't doing very well. Her whole litter had come in with a very large worm burden, and as a result of that, she started sort of wasting away and doing very poorly. And at that time, we noticed that she had a very, very low red blood cell count. So she was very severely anemic. She went downhill very quickly, and it was basically determined that she was not going to be with us much longer unless we intervened, and so we gave her a blood transfusion. It's a tricky process, and you have to be able to obtain the blood. So we drew some blood off of a large breed, very healthy dog while he was already having surgery, and we didn't have to take very much from a dog to be able to transfuse a little tiny puppy. So that was very good. And we had to get some supplies from some of our neighboring veterinary hospitals who support us. We had to support her with oral medications and with subcutaneous fluids because we couldn't get a vein on her for about 4 days, during which time she continued to decline and continued to decline. And finally, we decided we were going to have to take some extreme measures and do a jugular catheter, which also didn't work. And eventually the next day, just amazingly, we were able to get a vein on her one morning, just kind of fluky, and I took full advantage of getting that little vein and was able to give her the transfusion. Well, I was able to get the vein in the morning, which was very nice. So I started the transfusion at about 10 o'clock in the morning, and it went all the way through the night. I actually had to take her home and continue the transfusion at my house, where I was able to watch over her very, very closely, and had to give her a little bit of blood every half an hour, so it was a long, long task. But she made it, and the vein lasted, and about 24 to 36 hours after the transfusion was complete, she started to perk up a little bit, and we had to feed her and help her with eating for a little while. But once that kind of started, she started getting her energy back, and she came right back to us and has turned into quite the puppy. In the future, her adopters will have to be made very aware that she did receive a blood transfusion in shelter. And going forward, if at any point in her life, for whatever reason, she were to be injured or require a blood transfusion again for any reason, the adopters will have to make their veterinarian very aware of that, and so that the veterinarian can take the necessary precautions.
Gonzo came in late at night, and we noticed that he had a severe injury around his back foot. All the muscle around and the bone was exposed, so there wasn't a whole lot left there. Likely, it looked, just by the wound, it looked like there was something wrapped around, or he got caught in a trap. It was probably like that for a while because of the extent of the injury, so it was good that somebody did bring him in when they did. It could have been something as simple as that, an elastic band around there that was around for a couple of weeks, and that definitely could have caused that injury. There wasn't a whole lot we could actually do. We bandaged it up so that he was more comfortable, gave him some pain medication. But the foot there wasn't really much left. It wasn't really hanging on by much, so the best course of action was amputation at that point. He wasn't using the leg anyways, so it wasn't any different for us to leave it on or take it off, so he doesn't notice any difference except he's not in any more pain.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
I think one of the things I really like about the Shelter Pet Project is the idea of a forever home is real. Tucker, he was a crazy little furball, tiniest little thing. He was cross-eyed, and we fell in love. Miso, she's our little girl cat. She knows her name, and so she'll come when you call, and she's just this really sort of poised young lady. Thomas, he was just this big, orange, beautiful cat.
Thomas is kind of an old soul.
They're perfect. It sort of rounds out our whole idea of family with these guys. They completely transformed our lives. So you have like a really long day, or you have like a crummy day, and then you come home and you've got the cats that know nothing about it, frankly, and just want to enjoy your time. And there's just, I don't know, there's just something about knowing that something you saved is also sort of saving your day. I think every shelter pet requires a certain level of intention. That was the cool thing about the Humane Society, because I felt like we had to gain their trust a little bit too in all the right ways. I mean, they really wanted to know about us and our living situation. They wanted to know what we were looking for in a cat, and it wasn't simply from the standpoint that they were trying to sort of sell us a cat.
It's definitely a mission for them to make sure that the animals are well loved, and actually it's not them just making sure that they're getting cats out into the world, to make sure that they are placed with a family that fits them and can take care of them the way that they need to. The Shelter Pet Project is giving a voice to a population who doesn't have one. Everyone wants their place, and these pets are just looking for the same thing.
There are thousands of amazing shelter pets waiting to meet you. Meet yours at theshelterpetproject.org.
Back in Bingos once again with Nadine. We're getting ready to go into 2015. We've got some great products here that will help out your pet, from dental care to resting to playtime and in remembrance as well. So let's get started with the breath freshener. My dog uses this, and it's nice because you don't have to brush.
No, and all you have to do is squirt it in the mouth, and it'll eat away at the plaque and tartar in the mouth, as well as getting them fresh breath. And it's good for dog and cat.
Okay, and this comes with a treat. You can use the treat. They also have the liquid that you can pour into the water.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, so it's great. My dog's not a fan of the brushing, so it really helps him out that way.
There's a lot out that aren't fans of brushing, absolutely.
All right, so great product there to help the dog's teeth stay healthy. Some toys to help their mind stay healthy.
Yep, everybody knows of Nerf. Well, Nerf came out with a dog line now, so definitely worth a try, I would say. We're still going to be testing it out this year to see how it works, so stay tuned to see if it's worth taking.
And of course, if somebody grabs one of these products, tries it out, and can recommend it, definitely come and tell us.
Absolutely. That's the only way we find out how things are working.
Great. All right, so let's move on to a cat toy as well.
Kong came out with a new line. It's a wand, but it's quite cool. It's got feathers. It's got a nice little area here where the cat can actually grab and pull at, so it's kind of like tug-of-war with a cat.
And it's very durable. Kong makes toys that are very durable. They last a long time.
Yep. They're better than most toys out there. When you buy a Kong product, you know it's going to last a little bit longer than the other stuff out there.
Okay. And let's move on. We have some new urns as well.
Yeah, these ones are actually, I'm really proud to say we carry, because they're made by a glass artisan. Wow. So you can even choose the colors you want to get an urn made in. And yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. I'm very proud of them.
And something that's very cool about these, and it's a little bit different as well, you can actually use the hook in the back to hang them up on the wall on display as well. So it kind of becomes part of the decorations of your house, and it's a good way to remember your pet.
It's just gorgeous.
Amazing stuff. Great work there. And of course, once the pets are all tuckered out from trying all these new toys, getting their teeth brushed, we have a nice little bed for them.
Yep, and some animals love to have hidey holes, so this one gives them the option of having the hidey hole or just hanging their head out and having a good time. Yeah.
So this is good for a cat or a small dog.
Yep, yep.
Or big dogs will try.
It could be humorous. Yes, absolutely.
They'll put their head in there or their butt, and that is it.
And they'll get stuck. Yes, yes, they will.
All right, Nadine, thank you. A lot of great products here as well. Come and see Nadine and the rest of the staff here at Bingos. They'll help you out with whatever you're looking for. You're watching the Edmonton Humane Society podcast. I'm your host, Warren Dean. We've been introducing you to a lot of new faces here at the Edmonton Humane Society over the last few months, and we have yet another new face to introduce you to. We searched for a few months for a new operations manager and finally found Corey Moles. So let's get to know Corey just a bit better.
You know, I've always had a kind of passion for animals and enjoyed being around them, and I saw the posting and I made the move from the construction industry over this. Big change, but at the end of the day, it's good people to work with, a nice environment to be in, and it's just a fun day. The message that they send and in the community, I like the message, basically. You know, it's actually a lot different than I expected from an operational standpoint. A lot of the stuff and systems in place here are great systems, and there's some good people. They work really hard. I was really surprised at how intricate everything was and how hard people work here. It's a great place to be. Just how passionate everyone is here about it. A lot of times you go to an organization, they don't really believe in what's happening. They're here for the job, but I think here truly everyone does love their job, and you can see it with the people that bring their pets to work or some of the benefits to being here for sure. Not very often have I been on a conference call and have to put it on pause for a second while we go see which dog is barking. One of the first things I identified when I came in was how important the volunteers are to EHS as far as the functionality and where things go. So one of the areas I'm looking to is to improve that volunteer experience from when they first sign up, when they want to be involved, all the way throughout the process, so we can get their feedback, making sure the systems work for what they want to do as well as what we are trying to do here at EHS. I think a lot of it's just the tweaking. Any operation you go to, any organization, you look at the basic systems from top to bottom, and the hierarchy is there, the system is there. What I'm looking for is creating a warm environment that employees are engaged, that recruitment and retention programs, just making sure that people continue to love their jobs. 3 days in, I fell in love with a little pregnant beagle. She's since had her babies and she's off in foster, and I'm going to adopt her when she comes back. And my daughter has named her Miss Sadie, so we're excited for Sadie to join our family.
Each year, the Edmonton Humane Society sees an increase of unwanted cats and kittens during the spring, and usually we level off in the fall. But this year, we've been very busy. We've been at or over capacity for much of the year, and that puts us in a bit of a cat crisis. To talk more on the issue, our CEO, Miranda Jordan-Smith.
In May, that's when our high season kicked off, and it typically ends around September time. This particular year, though, we've seen a bit of a lag in high season where we were seeing a lot of cats and kittens come in the door in November. In November, we experienced a bit of a cat crunch where we had an influx of cats coming in and we had to close our doors to owner surrenders. We were still accepting strays from Animal Care and Control, as well as other groups from outside the Edmonton region. We do have a cat overpopulation issue in Edmonton and the Edmonton region. We do always encourage people to get their animals spayed or neutered. We offer a Prevent Another Litter subsidy program, which is also known as the PALS program here for individuals that qualify. I would encourage people to check out our website to see if they qualify for that particular program. We run clinics into 2015. They're already scheduled, so if there's anyone out there that wants to try to get their cat spayed or neutered or their dog, they should check out our website and see if they can get scheduled into a clinic. We did hold 2 adoption events in November, which was the first time that we've ever done that within 1 month. We had Mewvember to begin with, and then we had Mewvember 2.0. It was fun because it coincided with mustaches and beards in the month of November. So they were fun events. We had a lot of adopters turn out to take cats home. They were able to pick their own adoption price, which was the first time that we ever did that as a pilot. That was largely successful, where we saw people giving more money than what we would typically charge for a cat or a kitten. Well, this particular cat came into the shelter as an owner surrender. As you can tell, she's very vocal. She is a senior cat, and she is what's known as a munchkin because she's characterized by having really short legs. We're lucky that we do already have someone who has expressed an interest in adopting Munchkin, so she will be going to a good home. It's very exciting to see in the shelter when we have special animals that come in the door when they are senior and we are able to rehome them successfully. So she will be a success story of ours.
We can't close out this edition of the podcast without sharing the story of Barney. Barney came to us, and he was a homeless dog, and he was dirty and matted. I have never seen a dog in such rough shape as far as his coat goes, but he was a very friendly boy. This is Barney when he came in, and as you can see, he hadn't been properly cared for in quite some time, possibly a couple of years. It took a few sessions with our groomer to help him shed his matted coat.
It was really bad. He actually it was so matted that he had dreads hanging from his eyelashes and all of his face and his ears. You could just feel it was all one solid mat. It was so thick underneath the mat that he wasn't able to actually to urinate or do anything because it was so just solid that it wouldn't go through. It took, first I shaved him down while he was still wet, so it made it easier. It wasn't so hard and tugging on him as bad. And then after he was shaved down and wet, and then we shaved him again. And then from there, dried him, made him, then did the pretty as pretty as, he's adorable. He's a funny looking little guy, but he was so happy. I felt like he was thanking me the whole time. He would jump up and put his paws up here and then just kiss my face the whole time. I'm like, okay, that's really sweet, but gotta finish this. But yeah, no, he was adorable and just the happiest little guy.
Barney needed a lot of attention to get that coat under control and get him looked after. He also needed some dental work, and then he was ready for adoption, and he found a forever home courtesy the Matter family.
We come here every so often just to see what's out there. And when I saw him on Friday night, I thought, yes, that's the one for me, and I had to talk his ear off for a while to get him to agree. And when he was still here Saturday when we came, we made our decision.
It didn't take much.
No. He was so friendly and he wasn't scared of people at all, which I find a few of the animals here tend to be just as they come in as strays. And he had just the cutest little face. And then when we came in on Saturday and his little roommate was gone, somebody had adopted his pug roommate and he was all by himself, and yet he was still the happiest little thing. I just knew when I picked him up and he came to me that he was meant to come home with us. What broke my heart when I read his story is knowing that he's about 6 years old and how tiny he is. He couldn't have been on a stray for that long a period of time and be so comfortable around people and animals. He was somebody's pet at one point, and who knows what happened as to what made him a stray, but I just thought it was wrong to have such a little guy on his own. And we just had to bring him home. He had to be taken care of. And from the minute we took him home, he's been running the house like it's his. They're all pretty much family. There was no issues whatsoever when he came home. He blended right in. I think they're all pretty even. These two are pretty laid back. They don't really fight for much attention, so they're all pretty equal. Barney's got a little bit of independence in him, so that kind of gives the other dogs their opportunity to get their snuggles. All we know is that he was brought here on the 4th of November and he was in pretty rough shape. His hair was all matted and grown out, and his nails were really long and they were cutting into the back pads of his feet. And that when they did a dental exam, they found he was missing some teeth, and when they actually did a further or deeper exam, they actually pulled 15 teeth.
This was
oh my God. You can't even see his eyes. Holy. Oh, look at those mats. Oh. Oh my, look how thick they are on his back. It's like a completely different dog. It doesn't even look like him. Oh. How long would he have had to have been on the streets to look like that? Wow.
It's like a whole dog on the table.
It is. I can't believe that. And he's so well trained.
So there's
And
nails.
there's, oh my God, look at that. That's incredible. There he is. Oh.
So what do you think when you see that footage?
It's really sad, but I'm really glad we took him home.
That wraps up another edition of the Edmonton Humane Society podcast. Happy holidays to everybody. Stay safe and enjoy the time with your family, including the furry ones. Being a nonprofit charitable organization, we greatly depend on donor support to care for the thousands of homeless animals each year. Please visit our website for how you can donate. We appreciate any donation, big or small. Thanks to Catch Can Systems for sponsoring this show. Catch Can is committed to sustainable development by protecting and preserving the land and water. We would not get this show on without the help of Evan Adnams. His technical directing time and his talents are volunteered, and he does a great job bringing you this show. And for Shaw TV for airing our show at no cost, the only news magazine show produced by and for an animal shelter. We'll see you in 2015. If you want to keep track of us, until then, always check out Facebook, our website, Instagram, and Twitter.
There are so many things that I love about Bo. My sister and I nicknamed him Mushy Mush because he literally just melts in your arms when you pick him up. Him and I are just a perfect match. We just love cuddling together. He still plays like a puppy. He has these little ways that he uses his paws that is so adorable, and his little tongue sticks out. He's to die for. He kills me. I remember the first time he entered my house, we just kind of sat there staring at each other for a second. And I was like, am I gonna be fun enough for you? I had never looked into adopting a dog before, so I didn't know what it would be like. But it was really pleasant, and it went really smooth. And they actually came out to my house just to look around and see and make sure that it was a healthy environment for the dog. And then, you know, that night they called me and they were like, okay, well, Bo's yours. They were just so kind and so great to work with. I always tell friends who are interested in getting pets that they should adopt. There's always a difference between an adopted pet and one that's not. There's a level of appreciation that your dog has when you adopt them. It's almost as if, and I truly believe that Bo knew that I saved him in some way, because there's a million animals that just need somebody to love them so much, and it just kills me that there's other Bos out there. Adopting Bo totally changed my life. My sister and I even have this joke, like, who rescued who? Truly, when he came into my life, he changed everything. Dogs have this way of when you're sad, they just know, and he just knows that perfect little nook to just curl up in when I have anxiety or I'm sad or anything. There's nothing more rewarding than building that relationship and seeing them day by day warm up to you. It's just such a beautiful connection. I just think that adoption is the only way to go.
Visit theshelterpetproject.org for more information.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.